Hello, I am Emiliano, a geologist exploring fantasy worlds. Welcome to Middle-earth, the land of epic battles, ancient lore, and breathtaking landscapes. Today, we journey to one of the most infamous regions of this world, Mordor. The name itself conjures images of darkness, despair, and doom, but beyond its ominous reputation lies a landscape rich in geological intrigue. In this video, we'll explore the significant sites of Mordor, both natural and man-made, and learn about the geological forces that might have shaped this desolated land. We'll uncover the secrets of the mountains that encircle it, the mighty Mount Doom, and see how Tolkien's masterful world-building intertwines with real-world geology. Let's keep in mind though that Tolkien was no geologist, and when he wrote these stories, the theories of continental drift and plate tectonics were still in their infancy, so yes, I know mountain ranges don't usually make 90 degrees angle in real life, but we will try to explain them anyway. Mordor is situated in the southeastern part of Middle-earth, bordered by two formidable mountain ranges, the Erethl Thuy, or Ash Mountains to the north, and the Epel Duath, or Mountains of Shadow to the west and south. At its heart lies the iconic Mount Doom, or Orodruin, a towering volcano that is both the source of Sauron's power and one of the focal points of our geological investigation. The geography of Mordor is harsh and unforgiving, shaped by both natural and supernatural forces. The Black Gate, or Morannon, guards the narrow pass into the land from the northwest, while the fortress of Minas Morgul sits at a low crossing point in the west. To the east lies the vast plain of Gorgoroth, a barren wasteland of ash and rock. In the southwest, the dark, sad waters of Lake Nurnen provide the only fertile land in the region. Looming in the distance, the Dark Tower of Barad-dûr stands as a testament to Sauron's dominion over the land. The mountain ranges that encircle Mordor form a natural fortress, making it an almost impregnable stronghold. But how did these mountains come to be? To answer that, we need to examine the tectonic forces that might have shaped them. In the real world, mountain ranges like the Himalayas or the Andes are formed by the collision of tectonic plates. These immense forces push the Earth's crust upwards, creating towering peaks over millions of years. Could something similar have happened in Middle-earth? Well, if we consider Mordor's mountain ranges, the most possible explanation is that they were formed by the convergence of tectonic plates. The Erethl Thuy and Epel Duath could be the result of such collision, where the land was thrust upwards, creating a natural barrier that Sauron later exploited as a defensive stronghold. Several theories could explain the complex shapes of these mountain ranges. Some involve multiple geological events or perfectly timed tectonic shift to match the elevation of all these three walls that make up Mordor. However, after some research and consideration, I found an idea that is both elegant and effective. Professor William Sargent, in an article for Mythlore, proposed that a single tectonic event shaped Mordor. According to his theory, the collision of the rapidly westward moving Mordor plate with the northern part of the Harad plate and the southernmost part of the Rhovanion plate formed the mountains. A subsequent rebound against the more tectonically stable terrain of Harondor caused the Mordor plate to shift eastwards, giving rise to Mordor's unique geography. But the geology of Mordor isn't just about tectonics. At its core we have Mount Doom, an active volcano that plays a pivotal role in the story. Mount Doom, or Orodruin, is the most recognizable feature of Mordor. Its fiery peak and constant eruptions have shaped the land around it, turning the plains of Gorgoroth into a wasteland of ash and cinders. In real life, volcanoes like Mount Fuji or Mount St. Helens have had similar impacts on their surroundings. The eruption of Mount St. Helens during the 80s was one of the most devastating volcanic events in the US history, with 57 deaths and hundreds of buildings and several kilometers of highway destroyed. The eruptions of Mount Doom have been catastrophic, spewing ash and lava across the landscape, poisoning the air, and creating the barren, lifeless plain that defined Mordor during the Third Age. Mount Doom location on Tolkien's map suggests that it's not directly part of the western Eretz Lithui or the northern Epedwad. So, what is it? Most likely, it's the first expression of a volcanic hotspot. These hotspots are produced by a column of hot magma that rises from the mantle, piercing the Earth's crust and producing volcanic activity above it, although it is rare to have a hotspot so close to an active tectonic margin. In real life, volcanic hotspots are typically located in the thinner parts of the oceanic crust, far from active margins. They often form chains of volcanic islands, like the Hawaiian archipelago, rather than a single volcano. Also, these hotspots generally produce shield volcanoes, which are flat and low due to the high fluid lavas that compose them. In contrast, Orodruin seems to be a stratovolcano. Those are pointier and have explosive eruptions. Another possible explanation is that Mount Doom is indeed connected to the Eretz Lithui tectonic activity. With a shallow enough subduction angle, you could theoretically get an active volcano that is not directly on top of the elevated terrain produced by the subduction. This actually happens in the Andes, but then the scale of the Andes is far, far greater than the Ash Mountains. Both theories have their merits and flaws, so you let me know which one you think is more likely. But how large is Mount Doom compared to real-world volcanoes? Based on descriptions from the books, and luckily we have exact numbers from the Return of the King, it rises about 3,000 feet above the plain, and its central cone adds another 1,500 feet. So this gives us a total height of roughly 4,500 feet, or 1,300 meters, making it close in size to Mount Vesuvius in Italy. This is relatively small compared to other Earth volcanoes. Funnily enough, the volcano that played Mount Doom in Peter Jackson's adaptation is New Zealand's Mount Nguruhoe, which is almost twice as tall. Finally, let's not overlook the Sea of Nurnen, or Lake Nurnen, in Mordor's southwest. Surrounded by the plains of Nurn, the only fertile land in the region, this lake is a classic example of an endorheic basin. This means that all the water that falls in the region ends up in the lake, rather than draining to the ocean. As the water flows down into the basin, it would collect minerals, especially in a volcanically active region like Mordor, making Lake Nurnen a salty, minerally rich body of water, similar to the Caspian Sea or Lake Titicaca. But what about the fantasy explanation for Mordor's geography? Tolkien's world is rich in lore, and the creation of Mordor is no exception. In the Silmarillion, it's hinted that Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, played a role in shaping the land, corrupting it with his dark power. Sauron, Morgoth's lieutenant, later chose Mordor as his stronghold, drawn to the power of Mount Doom. Could the mountain ranges of Mordor have been shaped by these dark forces? Perhaps the tectonic activity that we discussed earlier was influenced by the malevolent will of Sauron and Morgoth, who bent the land to their needs. We know that Sauron had the power to force Orodruin to erupt, creating an ash cloud that covered the invading forces of Mordor, helping the orcs reach the gates of Minas Tirith. The presence of such powerful beings could have even catalyzed the formation of Mount Doom, creating a volcanic hotspot fueled by the dark magic rather than just earth mantle. This much is implied at least in volume 12 of the Middle-earth history, where a side note explicitly says that Orodruin is a relic of the devastating works of Melkor during the First Age. In any way, Tolkien's world building often mirrors real-world geological processes, but with a fantastical twist. The lands of Middle-earth are not just shaped by natural forces, but by the will of gods, wizards and dark lords, making them as much product of myth as of geology. As we've seen, the land of Mordor is a fascinating blend of natural and supernatural forces, where tectonic plates collide and volcanoes rise, but also where dark powers shape the land. Tolkien's ability to intertwine real-world geology with his rich fantasy lore is a testament to his world-building genius. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the geology of Mordor. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the world of fantasy. Next time, we'll travel to another iconic land of Middle-earth, so stay tuned. Until then, keep exploring, and remember, the lands of fantasy are as vast and varied as our own.